Hi guys, in this lesson I want to introduce you a very useful and easy way to simulate a backend. In fact, with NgMock we can easily simulate backend behavior and test our front-end application without having an implemented backup. And then once the backend is implemented, we can remove the NgMock module from our application and start using the actual backend. To start using NgMock, like any other Angular modules, we must include it in the index.html. So let's copy this one and Angular mocks. We need a few parameter more, quindi then data somewhere and data required sorry, and we have to for data we have to use the version of the Angular release, and this is Angular mocks at version number. Okay, this is the first step. Let's save the file. I think we need another file where we will put our source code, and let's start to include it, but I haven't already done. So let's call it mock.js. Okay, let's save it. Next step is to include it in our app.js. It's very easy. We just need to include the NgMock I2E. In fact, there is another one, and it is used for unit testing. Now we are simulating a backend, so it's end-to-end testing. It's now time to implement the actual source code to handle our HTTP backend. So first of all, let's create a new file and call it exactly app.run.mock.js, exactly as the one we have included before. So let's save .s, save. Okay. Second things, HTTP backend service runs in the run phase of the app bootstrap. So we have to extend the run phase of the application. So let's copy the first line, paste, and then let's start writing the code. So run function with our service dot HTTP backend. Okay, I think we can open and close curly brackets here. Let's start by saying that NgMock provides two main methods on the HTTP backend service, when get and when post, to trap request to the backend, to the fake backend. We obviously need a way to pass through some certain request in order to perform a real get. For example, when we load a template from Angular, this is seen as a get and then trapped by the NgMock service, and then with the result that we can't load our HTML templates. HTTP backend provides a way to bypass this problem. First of all, let's define a couple of routes to pass through. So HTTP backend when get, this is one of the methods. We are now defining here a route we are using a regular expression, so whatever begins with views, and then we have to put backslash slash dot star, that means whatever, and another backslash to close the regular expression, and then we use the method pass through. I think it's correct. We need this root and another one that is services. Okay. What I've done now is tell HTTP backend to pass through every route that begins with views and a URL that begins with views and the services, because we are using these two URL to load templates, Angular templates, and our services, Angular services. Now we can implement two methods that simulate a backend behavior. First of all, let's declare a variable, events, that is an array. Second things, let's copy this first line and then change this into events. So I'm telling NgMock to catch all routes with the root events, and then you have to respond with events. Basically, it returns the events array. Let's implement now the created add event functionality. So let's copy. Let's change the root here to add event, and this time this is not a get, but it is a post. The argument of the respond method now it's a function, so it's a closure. Function. It's a closure. We have three parameters here: method, URL, and data. In this function we need to do very simple things. The first one is to declare a variable. Let's call EVT and decode the data parameters, so with an Angular from JSON data. Second thing is to add an ID property to our event, and we can say that this is equal to the length of the events array plus 1. The other things is to push the events received from the post request into the array of the events EVT. And I think we've done, except for the return parameter. What we're returning, so we are returning an array with three elements, 3 items. The first one is the HTTP status, 200 OK. Then we have JSON some data. I think we can say something like add event result, and then we set the value to true. And the third parameter is an empty object. Okay, we have done our basic mockup is ready. So we have two pass-through routes, views and services, and we have a get on the events URL, and on the add event, here a T is missing, we have listening for a post on this URL. In this case, in the first case, so when on the get function, we are simply returning the events array. In the second case, the post, we are receiving some data from the front end, and we add an ID So let's write a comment, add an ID, and we are pushing it into the events array. So this is a very simple mockup, but we have the possibility to get an array list, an event list, and add an item to this event list. Surely you notice a little mistake. Here I wrote Angular instead of Angular. Let's save the file, and the lesson is finished.